I had to build this whole platform to really compare the entire Wanbo series in real time. Hello friend. If you come from this video of the Wanbo comparison, you are in the correct video. But if not, go look at it because that is part 1, and there is the comparison of specifications and under what criteria you should choose and buy one of the Wanbo models. You are going to see a video, which I humbly believe is the first of its kind on YouTube, where 4 projectors are installed to share a large 150-inch screen and demonstrate its full potential. But, in real time, and only for that reason, I believe I deserve your subscription, yes or no? Because as always my friend, I like to make different videos that really clarify doubts. That's why today I will project the entire Wanbo series in real time and you will see which of them performs best for your needs. Let's go to the video. Look at all these stunts I do for you so you can see a versus in real time and original. I hope that after this you can really subscribe. I had no idea how to do this versus because it is actually very complicated to install, connect and control 4 projectors at the same time. But with some creativity and some things from home I was able to put together this structure. Although doing all these stunts has its risks, I also like to experience new things and I had not seen anyone who has done it like this, but in real time, that is, all the projectors at the same time. That eliminates any possibility of cheating or altering and enhancing a projector's images to benefit it, since if I alter or edit the image, I would be editing everyone's projection at once. I will need a lot of batteries for the controls and that will also be a challenge since the controls are compatible with each other and when trying to control one, it will interfere with the others and that will make it difficult to control. I decided to put the Mozart one on the bottom, because at 3.5 kilos, they are heavier, while the X5 and the Da Vinci are wider and therefore more stable, so I already have everything ready to start. But it's not enough to just turn them on and that's it. Because after loading these they will project in different sizes, and then you have to calibrate the focus and distance of each one separately. To avoid recording the table, I have an 18mm lens that allows me to record with a wider angle of view, to have a wider image. I have tried to calibrate the 4-point adjustment on all of them to obtain equal screens and I have not been successful, and that tells me the first difference between them, the throw, which is the distance from the screen to achieve a certain projection size. And although I placed them all at the same distance from the screen, about 2 meters, not all of them generate the same projection size and with these white screens this characteristic is much better observed. As you can see the X5 has a slightly longer throw. In addition, the different brightness powers are also confirmed, where the Da Vinci 1 Pro with its 600 ANSI lumens is the least bright, the Mozart one with 900 are similar and the X5 with its 1100 ANSI lumens is undoubtedly the brightest and that's why I do a relative measurement to check it. Now I will project some 4K videos from YouTube, obviously scaled to full HD so you can have a better perception of the quality of each of them, both in brightness and colors. To make a better analysis of each projector, you must take into account its specifications that we saw in the previous comparison video. First of all, I don't see any major difference in resolution. Of course, because they are all full HD and the projections are almost the same. Remember that resolution is just a number, it is standard and it is universal. And if everyone is really full HD, they should have 2 million pixels on their screens. Therefore, there should be no important differences between them in this regard. If you look closely, I already managed to improve the projection size of the Mozart 1 and the Da Vinci. And now the 3 screens are more even, but I couldn't make the X5 larger. Note that despite the differences in brightness that their specifications say and that I verified with the measurement I did, where the values were very dispersed, that does not have a great impact on the quality of the images and this is one of the things they wanted let them see. Because people are wrongly rating the quality of a projector based on its ANSI lumens brightness and that is not correct. As you see here, all of them show good quality images in full HD and the resolution is noticeable. You notice in images like this where you can see the definition of the eyelashes with good quality and precision in all of them. And be careful, I'm talking about sharpness and resolution, not brightness. If we talk about brightness, you can see that the Wanbo N5 shows the brightest images, followed by the Mozart 1 and finally the Da Vinci 1 Pro. But be honest and try to answer me in the comments. Are the brightness differences really abysmal? I personally think not. If you use them in a dark environment, the differences in brightness, for me, are not defining. Where it is a little more noticeable is in the screenings during the day, and later you will see why I say that. In other words, if you want a projector that you will mostly use in the dark, don't get carried away with the ANSI lumens. I would prioritize other features, such as Google certification or better 4K decoding. But if I am going to use it mostly at night, the shine is not my big priority. If you look at the images between the two Mozart ones, they are very similar. Although the Mozart one had more lux brightness than the Pro in the measurement, since that is due to the color temperature, and white is also a color. The Mozart one showed a cold white, while the Mozart 1 Pro showed a warmer white, and that generated a significant 160 lux difference between the two. But look at the Mozart 1 and tell me if you think that those 160 lux are strongly noticeable in the projection. I think not, and that is because what has the most influence is the quality of the content. Another aspect to take into account is the size of your projection. You're not going to buy a projector to project a 60-inch screen, right? It would be silly. You'd better just stick with your smart TV. I have them right now at 60 inches, because all four of them are sharing my entire screen at the same time. But these projectors should be used at a minimum of 100 inches or ideally at 120. I do not recommend using them below 70 inches, because the smaller the projection, the more the brightness concentrates in the center, saturating some images with excessive exposure, showing them burned and with washed out colors. Observe the projectors on the left. Their excessive brightness shows a central light source and that washes out the colors, showing them whitish, while the Pro projectors on the right show the colors much better, since there is no overexposure. Therefore, brighter is not always better. It is better only if you plan to have a screen of 150 inches or more, but not for screens below 70 inches. Finally, I don't know if you noticed, but I can see a slight improvement in the sharpness and quality of the details on the Pro models on the right. You can see it here in the details of the parrot's feathers or in this cool image with a green eye. And this is closely linked to the fact that they integrate an improved 4K decoding algorithm, and I personally believe that it does improve the images, but tell me in the comments what you think. One of the main disadvantages of these projectors is that you have to buy them online, because it is very difficult to find them in regular stores, and in my previous video I tried my discount codes for each of them and they work. But since Wanbo is celebrating its 8th anniversary, the discount for these codes has been lowered even further, so these months are a great opportunity to buy a Wanbo projector. But if you don't have the money to buy it, on this channel I will raffle one of them every month. And this time you have the opportunity to win this beautiful Wanbo Mozart one, and I will send it completely free. To participate, go to my link, bento.me/l-javi, where all my promos are gathered, and read the conditions. This powerful Wanbo Mozart one could end up in your living room. And this will be the 4th live draw. Remember that you can see the previous winners on my blog.
It's true. Javier does comply.
I had to dismantle the structure because if not, the door was going to stay open, but while I put it back together, I tell you that last week, Samsung invited me to the official launch of its new line of smart TVs with processors powered by artificial intelligence, and they promise to be a revolution in terms of image processing. So I will soon bring you the report with everything I learned on this great trip. Now yes, I am finishing, and I will put up a couple of blankets as curtains so that it more or less resembles the intensity of ambient light that there is in a normal room. And together with my little Rick we are ready to see how it turns out. These projectors have ambient light, it being almost 1 in the afternoon. In addition, I found a way to increase the projection size of the Wanbo 5, and to do that I put the wooden board at an angle, so that it is further from the screen on one side than the other. Although that leaves the table moving dangerously, I will put the Wanbo TT here, and that will serve as a counterweight. And now let's get a little closer to the screen to see better. We already have multiple projection, and with the 4 screens at almost the same size to make the comparison fairer. And as you can see, the Wanbo X5 stands out because it has a little more brightness than the others. Whether it is much brighter or just a little, that depends on the observer, and each of you will evaluate independently. These are real projections without filters, with transparency, and taken from different angles so that you can see how these devices project with ambient light. And remember that, in my previous video, I told you clearly that these are not projectors for teaching classes during the day, unless you have a classroom with dark curtains. In that case, the most recommended is the X5, because it has the best brightness power of all the Wanbos. And if you want to see how these full-screen projectors perform, There are videos of each of them on my channel. And this is how I select the videos. I do it independently on each projector and covering the remote control so that it does not affect the other projectors, and once the video is chosen, I can now play it on all of them at the same time. But since right now I am with my living room light is on, I will turn it off so it can be seen better. And this is how the images of these projectors look like during the day and on a white screen, but projected at about 60 inches, since the larger the image, the lower the brightness, which is evident since the light must be distributed on a surface larger. But what do you say? It's right, it's wrong, it's enough, I don't know. But in order not to be projectors for the day, they don't do a bad job either, right? And if you have a less lit room than mine and that doesn't get as much ambient light or with darker curtains, it will even look better. Well friends, for a long time I wanted to show you this versus, as I like to do, and I finally was able to. From now on I tell you that, although they are not the best projectors, they are among the best known and best selling, but I am not putting my hands on the fire for them either, because as I have told you in other videos, all the products in the world, absolutely everyone has a failure rate, and I tell you this knowingly with more than 15 years working as a reliability and failure analysis supervisor. But in my personal experience, of the almost 10 Wanbo projectors that I have had, none of them have failed me, and I hope that, if you buy a projector, regardless of the brand, you will do very well with it. You are served friends. In my previous video we took a walk through their specifications and purchasing tips, and in this video you have seen them in action and how they project. Now tell me if all this work is not worth your subscription, my friend? In these two videos you have all the tools to carefully choose one of these projectors, which have now been the Wanbo ones, but which will soon be made from other families of projectors. I have tried to be as transparent as possible with the information, and I hope it helps you a lot. Please rate my work and thank me with your like, and if you subscribe and activate the bell, much better, because you will receive more content of this type that really clarifies doubts. Help me, and let's democratize technology. Until the next video.